Everyone, so you're trying to move a mesh after it's ragdolled and you can't seem to get it to work right. This tutorial will show you how to do it, where you can then ragdoll something and then have control of it afterwards. Let's get the project set up so you can follow along if you want. I'm gonna go kind of quick through this since you've probably already done this, but in case you haven't, or you want to figure out how I set everything up, you can follow along this way. First, make a new level, a new blueprint for your enemy character. We'll call him BP Enemy because I'm very creative. Let's add a skeletal mesh. We'll just use Manny for now because that's nice and easy. Once you get him aligned to the floor, then we're gonna rotate him to face the front. Set his animation blueprint. Now a new behavior tree. Let's give him some brains so that he can pick a spot on the map and just walk around randomly. We're gonna make a new blueprint task so that he'll pick a spot and walk to it. And then we'll set his AI controller to be the one we're about to create. Make sure you change to placed in world and spawned, depending on how you're going to use that character, and set the AI controller to the new one you just created. We use AI move 2 to walk. And then we'll use this node to pick a spot that we can move to. Naturally, there's an error because I didn't give him an origin. Just get wherever he is currently. A little bit cleanup. Connect the pins correctly, unlike I'm doing. I will fix that later. And make sure you finish every task with the finish execute so that it knows it's done and that it finished successfully. And then once he gets there, he'll wait 5 seconds. Now we got to add a nav mesh, make it cover the area we want him to be able to walk. Just make it bigger than the area. Hit P in order to check and make sure it works. I didn't hook up the pins correctly. Now it should work. I'm going to use a blueprint interface to signal when they're supposed to die. And I go into the level blueprint and just use a debug key. And you can see that it called for the kill the enemy, implement the interfaces. And it's gonna call the command. I also need to tell it where it's sending the message to. I'm just gonna send it to everything. Any characters on the board, they're gonna get the command to die when I press the 1 button. And let's check to make sure that it's getting it. It got it. You see both messages there. Now, first thing we're gonna do is make sure that when he gets killed, he stops moving. Simulate physics. Forgot to turn on the colliders. All right, turn on collision, make it look pretty. Perfect. He falls. Good ragdoll. Now, if you're watching this video, this is probably what made you start searching the internet and start watching this video in the first place. I don't want to just destroy. I want to move them through the ground and then destroy so they don't just pop out of existence. So let's turn the physics back off, turn the collisions back off. Well, here's the problem. He's dead, but then he pops back to his pose. That's not going to work for us. I need him to hold still afterwards. And let's just try moving him. What happens? Let's add a timeline and a float track that will control our movement. We'll make it take 3 seconds to happen. Remember to store your start location. You can't use your current location. You got to go from start to finish. If you use current, it doesn't work right. You'll end up moving really fast and slowing down before you get there. All I'm going to do is have him move down 50 units. That should bring him below the floor. He's not that big. If it's bigger, you'll have to move down further. A little bit of a vector, linear interpolate. Set the actor location, put in our start and finish, and then what our timeline is. Now, if you look, nothing happened. The engine is fighting your movement with the physics simulation. Not going to do anything. The physics simulation is going to win, and the character's just going to sit there, at best, twitch around. So let's stop messing around and I'll show you how to properly do this. Properly might be a strong word. Let's show you how I figured out how to do this. I want to clean up a few things real quick. I'm just going to set this to be a function so that I can just tick a box and turn on and off physics as I need to. If you have any questions about anything I've already done in this video and I didn't make it very clear, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll go back and I'll try to clarify or make another tutorial video, hopefully shorter than this one, but it will be, this one required a little bit of setup to show you what the problem was and how to fix it. Let's come up with the solution. First thing we're going to do is stop trying to move it because it's not going to work. Let's kick it off to the side, but we will be using it later, so don't get rid of it. Let's make a new blueprint of an actor, and we're just going to add a posable mesh in it. You don't want to use a skeletal mesh. You need a posable mesh. Do a quick search for the skeletal mesh component, set it to Manny. Don't worry about the scale. He's going to be a little bit big right now. We'll adjust that in the blueprint. Now you also want to start him hidden, the actor hidden in game, not the mesh. Now in your enemy blueprint, what we're going to do is spawn in the new one, which will act as our corpse. And we get his transform. This is where we're going to spawn him at. If you forgot to turn off hidden in game, you'll see he doesn't actually spawn on top of it. Because of the ragdoll, the transform gets a little squirrely, but it will still work fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get basically all the bone names, all the socket names. Returns an array of names. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set each of the bones in the posable mesh to match the bones in where our character was. So we're going to set our bone transform. I had location on there. We need transform. And you also don't need reset. You need set. Also, there's some other things we need to do before we actually set them. We're going to put them to sleep. And then we're going to go ahead and turn off their tick so they stop. If they're twitching, that they'll stop doing that before we lock it in place. All right, now it's time to set the bones to the new mesh that you spawned in that is currently invisible because it's hidden in game. So we got to get each of the bone locations. No, we need each of the bone transforms because we're going to be adjusting rotation and scale. And then what we have to do is unhide. We have to hide the ragdoll and unhide the corpse. You should have full control over that spawned in corpse. Now let's take control of that and let's see if it moves. Perfect. Don't forget to destroy the actors after the move is done, and you'll have to get rid of the original enemy and the one that you move. Got all that in there, and let's check it with a bunch of them. Down they go, and they all disappear. But that's it. Everything's done. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if there's a better way to do this, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, guys.